Jam Shibad Paramamsa Prajagacharya Ashtotra Sata Shri Shri Srimad Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki BBD Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Hidayah Premanande Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jaya Mudiraye Nashta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevayam Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtuki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 11, Swayambhava Manu advises Dhruva Maharaj, text 13. Please repeat after me. Titikshayam Karunayam Titikshaya Karunayam Maitrayam Chakila Jantushu Maitriya Chakila Jantushu Samatvena Cha Sarvatma Samatvena Cha Sarvatma Bhagavan Samprasidati Titikshaya Karunayam Maitraya Chakila Jantushu Samatvena Cha Sarvatma Bhagavan Samprasidati Titikshaya Karunayam Maitraya Chakila Jantushu Samatvena Cha Sarvatma Bhagavan Samprasidati. Titikshaya Karunaya Chakila Jantushu Samatvena Cha Sarvatma Bhagavan Samprasidati Titikshaya Karunaya Chakila Jantushu Samatvena Cha Sarvatma Bhagavan Samprasidati. Samadvena Cha Sarvatma Bhagavan Samprasidati Titikshaya Karunaya Nacha Sarvatma Bhagavan Samprasidati Titikshaya Karunaya Treya Cha Akila Jantushu Samadvena Cha Sarvatma Bhagavan samprasidati titikshaya by tolerance, karunaya by mercy, maitraya by friendship, cha also, akhila universal, jantushu unto the living entities, samatvena by equilibrium, cha also, sarva atma the super soul, Bhagavan the supreme personality of Godhead, samprasidati becomes very satisfied. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Lord is very satisfied with His devotees when the devotee greets other people with tolerance, mercy, friendship, and equality. Purport. It is the duty of an advanced devotee in the second stage of devotional perfection to act in accordance with this verse. There are 3 stages of devotional service. In the lowest stage, a devotee is simply concerned with the deity in the temple, and he worships the Lord with great devotion, according to rules and regulation. In the second stage, the devotee is cognizant of his relationship with the Lord, his relationship with fellow devotees, his relationship with persons who are innocent, and his relationship with persons who are envious. Sometimes devotees are ill-treated by envious persons. It is advised that an advanced devotee should be tolerant. He should show complete mercy to persons who are ignorant or innocent. A preacher devotee is meant to show mercy to innocent persons whom he can elevate to devotional service. Everyone, by constitutional position, is an eternal servant of God. Therefore, a devotee's business is to awaken everyone's Krishna consciousness. That is his mercy. As far as a devotee's treatment of other devotees who are his equals, he should maintain friendship with them. His general view should be to see every living entity as part of the Supreme Lord. Different living entities appear in different forms of dress, but according to the instruction of the Bhagavad Gita, a learned person sees all living entities equally. Anyone remembers the verse which relate to this? Brahmana Sunichava Supagyacha Pandita. Yeah, it's a good one. Very good. Thank you. There's also one more. Amavansa Jiva Bhuta Jiva Loka Sanatanam. So every living entity is my part and parcel. Such treatment by the devotee is very much appreciated by the Supreme Lord. It is said, therefore, that a saintly person is always tolerant and merciful. He is a friend to everyone, never an enemy to anyone, and he is peaceful. These are some of the good qualities of a devotee. Just repeat the translation. The Lord is very satisfied with his devotee when the devotee greets other people with tolerance, mercy, friendship, and equality. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Shakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Dapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sakrajadam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parjana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. Offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Tavasmi Najivami Tavagana Iti Namam Sharanti Kam Karoti Vatsalam Pangolanga Iti Giri Etripata Mahamande Shri Guru Dinatharinam. Hare Krishna everyone, good morning. Welcome to this morning's Bhagavatam class. Here is Swayambhava Manu advises Prahlad Maharaj. As a bit of a background here, Prahlad Maharaj gets very angry with the yakshas who reside in the northern side, northern spheres. And he gets upset because his brother gets killed by one of the yakshas. And he wages war against them and he starts killing them excessively in a non-discriminatory fashion. So Swayambhava Manu comes here and says and advises Dhruva Maharaj to get his composure back. Dhruva Maharaj is a pure devotee of the Lord. We have seen that he had performed great austerities, and because of the austerities and devotional service, he happened to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead in a very short time period. And naturally, because of association with the Lord, Dhruva Maharaj is considered a pure devotee of the Lord. But in spite of that, you can see momentarily Dhruva Maharaj loses his composure and takes up weapons and start destroying yakshas. So one has to be careful that Dhruva Maharaj has a momentary distraction, that he should not be considered as an ordinary person. Bhagavad Gita, the 2 verses, anybody can remember? 9th chapter. Apichet Suduracharo Bhajate Mam Ananyavad Sadhureva Mantavya Samyak Vyavasito Ishisat Shipram Bhavati Dharmatma Shashvat Santi Nigachati Kaunteya Pratijanehi Name Bhakta Pranayashati. So there's 2 verses where Krishna wants Arjuna to declare. Even Krishna doesn't make a statement by himself. He says, you declare that any momentary fall down of a devotee of mine is quickly re-established in his original position. And any fault he has is completely not taken into consideration. And he achieves the highest perfection immediately. So there's 2 verses Krishna says. Similarly here, even though Dhruva Maharaj appear to have not fall down per se, but act in anger, motivated by his self-interest that his brother was killed. So he's motivated by that. So anger, because of his relationship with his brother, he starts attacking the yakshas. But in spite of his so-called anger, one should not consider Dhruva Maharaj as an ordinary person. So here, Swayambhuva Manu, Dhruva Maharaj's grandfather, instructs Dhruva Maharaj about the qualities which will please the Supreme Lord. Bhagavan Sarvatma Bhagavan Samprasidati. Bhagavan Samprasidati. So the goal of a devotee is to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to have this Bhagavan Samprasidati, to please the Lord. So how, let's focus on pleasing the Supreme Lord. How would one please a person? What is the easiest way to, give me some examples. Yes, please. To serve them. Yes, to serve them. Yeah. One. Is there any way? Sorry. Flattery, by flattering. Yeah. By flattering. Yes. Any other ways to serve someone? By glorifying them. Yes. By glorifying them. Yes. Giving them your attention. Yes. Okay. Very good. These are some of the ways one can glorify. While we were children, if there is a festival coming up, you want a particular present. There's also, the market, something new toy has come. How do you get your parents to buy you that new toy? Sorry? Sit down and cry. Okay, that's one way of doing it. Is that not in a passive-aggressive way, but more sorry, what? Yeah, well, yes, yeah. Sorry? Yeah, do the chores, something. What I was trying to get at is, there's many manipulative ways, I'm sure you guys are all expert in it. But what I was getting at is, if you follow the instructions, what the parents say, and you pretend to, you follow, according to what they have said, then the parent is immediately pleased. And then you can say, oh yeah, I've been a good boy or a good girl. So you just make that up so that, a good boy or a good girl, so that they can buy you a gift, whatever you want. Just by following what they've said. And the mother says, do this, do this, do this. Every other day you won't do it. But if there is something in the market, something you want, you start doing it, making it visibly doing it. So the parent looks at it and says, what's going on? There's something, he's behaving well, she's behaving well. So one of the easiest way to please somebody is to follow their instructions. To follow the instructions or follow the system they have set up. By following those systems, this is not the manipulative way of doing it. Flattery that people can see through sometimes. But if a person has a genuine way they want to impress someone, is to follow them, follow the instructions they have set forth. By following those instructions, one knows that this person actually is glorifying me because he is respecting my instructions, respecting the system I've set up. They also understand this person is actually what is the word used? Flattering me or loves me because he is doing what I told him to do. You might want to serve somebody, but your heart might not be there. You're just doing things externally, or you're flattering someone just externally. So there can be not doing it for the right purpose. But when follows the instructions given by someone with sincerity, then you automatically please someone. Automatically please someone. So Krishna, through his scriptures, have given many injunctions for us to follow. injunctions himself follow. And these injunctions, he also says, or his devotee says, by following these injunctions, you satisfy the Lord. You satisfy the Lord. Say, if you go to Bhagavad Gita, one of the prime instructions Krishna gives, he gives it twice, one in 9th chapter, one in 18th chapter. Can anyone think of the verse? He uses very similar words. Exactly, yeah. Manmana bhava madbhakta madhyachima namaskurum. So as Krishna is telling, giving you a set of instructions, become my devotee. Manmana, think of me all the time. Manmana bhava madbhakta, become my devotee. Madhyajima, worship me. By doing this, I'll be pleased and I will give you, you'll come to me very quickly. He says this twice. So just by following those instructions, he is happy to give something which we have lost, our constitutional position. He's happy to give just by following those instructions. So you can see in many, various in places, Krishna gives various instructions. So system, Krishna has set up a system. So if somebody sets up a system and you follow that system, that person is happy. We discussed. So one of the systems set up by Krishna is again Bhagavad Gita. Anybody? 3rd chapter. He sets up a system. He says, I set up this system. And I'm looking for a particular verse here because it talks about a system. Chaturvarnyam maya shishtam guna karma vibhagasya. This Chaturvarnyam and this 4 varnas and 4 ashrama system is set up by me. It's a system set up by me according to individuals, guna and karma. It's a system. So you follow his system, you satisfy him. But Krishna sets up a system. I come up with my own system, and I say, "This is the system." That's not, that's not pleasing because he knows what he's doing. Like a parent knows he has set up a system. Wash your clothes like this, dry it like this, do it like this. The parent knows, but you come up with this. No. I'm smarter than you. I know what I'm doing. I will do it in a better way. No. It doesn't work like that. So the modern civilization is we come up with our own system. We come up with many isms, veganism, feminism, thisism, thatism. We come up with a lot of isms, democracy, all those things we have come up with. But these are not the system set up by the Lord. System set up by the Lord is Varnashram system. And what is that? Verse from Bhagavatam. Haritoshanam. Sorry, what? Varnashrama Vibha. Yeah. Samsiddhim Haritoshanam. So the 4 system and the 4 ashramas is set up by the Lord. It's a system set up by the Lord. And if one performs those system along with devotional service for pleasing this as a devotional service to the Lord, then samsiddhim haritoshanam. Then Hari is satisfied. By following the system, I'm satisfied, and offering the results of the system to me, I'm satisfied. So, by following the system, one satisfies the Lord. Similarly, here are some of the qualities described which are pleasing to the Lord. So one has to be careful, like the Varnashram system, it's a system set up by the Lord, but there is also a caveat to it. The caveat is that it has to be performed as a satisfaction, as a service to the Lord. If you just do it for your own satisfaction, the same Varnashram system, that is not satisfying, that is not Haritoshanam. That is just becoming Asurik Varnashram. You use the principles, but for your own benefit. For example, people like Hiranyakashipu, he followed Varnashram. and the Duryodhana and mob, they followed Varnashram to some extent, and to large extent they were very charitable. Duryodhana and Karna, they are very charitable to their subjects. They gave a lot of donation. They almost bankrupted Hastinapur's treasury by giving up. They thought they would just give money to buy people's love. But you can see, same Varnashram principle, followed by individuals, but they performed not for satisfaction of Vishnu. They followed the system for their own benefits. It doesn't work. Okay. Even the system set up by the Lord has to be performed in conjunction with how the Lord wants it to be performed. So it has to be not just any mundane Varnashram. It has to be Daivi Varnashram, a system performed in such a way it is pleasing to the Lord. And then you get the benefit of it. So there are certain qualities the Lord expects from His devotees. Even before we jump into it, when a person takes up devotional service, comes in contact with devotees, takes up devotional service, his salvation, him going back to Godhead, or achieving his constitutional position, is guaranteed. Is guaranteed. One takes prasadam, one follows the regulative principles, one chants the holy name. Is guaranteed. Even if there is any impediments, if the devotee can't follow the regulative principle, or he struggles with his senses, he struggles with his sadhana, but he is sincere, he is trying. In spite of all these hiccups, his destiny is guaranteed. When we see Narottam Das Thakur in that verse, in that poem, what is it? Hari Hari Vipale Janama Guaino. In that he says, what is that one? He's Papi Tapi Jata Chilo, Hariname Udarilo, Tarashakti, Jagai Madai. So Jagai and Madai, if you look at their life and history, they were not ordinary sinful people. They are extremely sinful people. Extremely sinful people. They were plunderers. They were killers. They used to go around killing people, killers, and they were rapists. They will steal young women from their house. These are the qualities of Jagai and Madai. But the mercy of Mahaprabhu is so great that they were immediately purified of all their sinful activities. And they've been liberated. So for a miniature Jagai and Madai like us, there is the mercy of the Lord which will purify us eventually, and then give us the ultimate destination, which is guaranteed. Of course, this is not an injunction that we go and lead a debauched life, but just to get the principle here. So once taking up devotional service, even on a Kanishta stage, his destination is guaranteed. So what happens, since you know it is guaranteed, what do you do as an individual from that moment onwards till you reach your ultimate destination? What do you do? Sorry, what? Follow the instructions of authority. Okay, why do you do that? Because your destination is already guaranteed. I'm saying? If you come to devotional service, because it's a miserable place, I want to get out, okay, it's guaranteed. It might take one or two, or this life, next life, it's guaranteed. Then from that point onwards, once you take initiation, it's guaranteed. And so from that point onwards, till you achieve your ultimate goal, what do? How do you keep yourself busy? The journey, okay, journey becomes shorter. That's good. Uh, the other way of looking at it is any activities you perform from that point onwards, you're performing for the satisfaction of the Lord. Because what you need to get out of that relationship, you already got, in one sense. And the rest of the time, every activity you're performing to satisfy the Lord. Does that make sense? All the activities you're performing. Your sense of being, your existence, becomes a satisfaction for the Lord. So you're not anymore concerned about, I'm avoiding these things because it's not going to, it's going to complicate me into this material world with sins and this and that. You're not worried about that. Does that make sense? And you're not really, one way of looking at it is like you're chanting, you're reading books so that I can fast track it or I can go back to God immediately. Again, that's another way of looking at it, but the more profound way of looking at it is, because it's already guaranteed, and you going back and not going back, it's not up to you. It doesn't matter how hard you struggle, it's up to the Lord. So your existence is, it's not dependent on delaying your process or extending your process or making it quicker. It becomes more, okay, I'm in this position, I will do activities which are pleasing to the Lord. Okay. It's instead of becoming chores that I have to do to fast track my goal, or if I don't do that, I'll get punished, kind of attitude. Instead of that, which is fair attitude, I'm not telling, but there's another way of looking at it. My existence is I'm a servant of the Lord, and Krishna loves me, and my job is to love him back. So how I love him back? By doing activities, by modeling myself, with things which are pleasing to the Lord. Then you chant your holy names based on that principle. You're chanting the holy name on the principle that, I'm chanting this because this chanting pleases the Lord. Because your destination is already guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? So, and then, any activity, you're chanting, then you're glorifying the Lord. Then that glorification is not flattery. Is that the right way to say it? Flattery? You're not just, oh, mommy, you're so nice. Buy me this. She already bought you the stuff. So now, so your glorification is in a different level. You're glorifying the Lord because you genuinely love him. So every activity, sinful activities, Krishna can destroy your sinful activities, mountains and mountains of sinful activities, like that. Just one pure chanting of holy name will destroy all your sinful activities. It's gone. A glance of a pure devotee will destroy, not my glance, a glance of a pure devotee will destroy all your mountains of sinful activity which you have accumulated for millions and millions of lifetime. So the devotee stops performing sinful activities, not because it's going to complicate his livelihood. He doesn't perform sinful activities because these sinful activities annoy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It annoys Krishna. Krishna doesn't like. So we don't do it. I like to get drunk. I don't want to do it because Krishna doesn't like it. So different way of looking at it. So devotees perform, pure devotees perform, and aspiring devotees like us also perform activities keeping in mind what is pleasing to the Lord. Not based on what I like doing. As soon as you bring in Varnashram, Sri Dharma, immediately you get a lot of pushback from the feminists and from all the people. Oh, why should I do this? Why can men do this and women can't do this? Hey, look, it's not, I don't care, do whatever you want to do. But because the system he set up is pleasing to Krishna. What is the verse? 335 Bhagavad Gita. Swadharma. Nice verse, very important verse. Swadharma nidana shreya. By performing one's allocated duty according to the Varnashraman system. It's better that you do it, even if you're not good at it, but just stick to it and do it. That's what Krishna says. 335, very important verse. Sorry, what? No, 335, Swadharma Nidana Shreya. 335, look it up. I'll wait. I can't remember the whole verse, but I know some Paradharma Anushrita, yeah. So activities, as Krishna says, the activities which are allocated to you, you better stick to it even if you're not good at it. Instead of going and doing somebody else's activities, even though you're expert at it. By doing that, so he says what is Shreya, what is pleasing to him. So these are important instructions. So even how to do things. Even you're expert at certain things, you better do things which are according to what is allocated to you, so that it's pleasing to the Lord. So what I'm getting at is the activities you perform. You always ask yourself if what I'm performing is going to be pleasing to Krishna. And this pleasing to Krishna is not something you mentally speculate. You come up with your own ideas. It's according to injunctions he himself gives. By doing that, you naturally please Krishna. Let's look into some of the qualities Krishna mentions here. Titikshaya, karunaya. By tolerance, by mercy. So when we discussed about the system, when we discussed about Varnashram, we said there is a caveat that it should be performed where the benefits are offered as a service, as an offering to Krishna. Then Varnashram works. Similarly, all these qualities, tolerance, karunaya, being friendship, these ones, one should not just take it for namesake. What do I mean by namesake? Tolerance, titikshaya. So, people kill animals in large quantities. Do they? Should we tolerate? Should we tolerate? No, we can't tolerate. One should oppose to it in a strong fashion. There's no tolerance in that. If you tolerate, you are going along with it. So, just because you're taking up devotion service, sattvic lifestyle, so you just become this laughing guru, you just smile and accepting everyone. No. Name one of the devotees, not just one, few devotees from scriptures who are glorified to where they exhibited anger, extreme anger. Any example? Dhruva Maharaj, he has personal motives. It's personal motives there. That's why I started the class by saying, look, seemingly, he's kind of went away, but exactly, Hanuman. Yeah, that's Lord. Devotee, we talk about devotees. Hanuman, yeah? Was offended, yeah. Hanuman is a classic example. Arjuna is another example, where Hanuman did not tolerate the residents of Lanka. He burned down the city, completely burned down the city. In that burning down process, he killed many demons, asuras and asuris. Male and female demons he killed. There was no tolerance. So one should not tolerate, on the name of tolerance, one should not tolerate principles which are set by the Lord. So for example, as I mentioned, the example of the meat eaters, the mass slaughterhouses. Devotees we should not tolerate. And we should preach strongly against it. We should preach strongly against it. Another example, I heard this, so you can verify it, but the principle is right. There was a stage where Prabhupada was there, and there was also Prabhupada shared a stage with the Mayavad sannyasi. And the Mayavad sannyasi started speaking, and of course, what do Mayavadis speak? They speak Mayavad philosophy. And in the middle of, as he started speaking Mayavad, Prabhupada took his kartals and started singing on the stage while the guy was speaking. And the devotees, Prabhupada disciples around, they didn't know what to do. They immediately joined in with their kartals, with their mridanga, and completely cut the Mayavadi off. It comes across very rude, isn't it? It comes across very rude, isn't it? When somebody's speaking, you just start playing and make a mockery out of their speech. Where is the tolerance there? Prabhupada should have tolerated. Isn't it? Have anybody heard of that pastime before? Yeah, I heard that before. So there's no tolerance when somebody speaks Mayavad philosophy. The preacher should be very equipped in cutting these philosophies. When you hear these philosophies, it should be cut. This whole idea of bridge preaching, we just hear what they got to say, and then they will listen what we got to say. No. By then, you're already polluted by hearing Mayavad philosophy. You start doubting, maybe he's right. Because Mayavad philosophy is so powerful, by listening to it, it contaminates. That's why Mahaprabhu instructs, never listen to a Mayavadi. So on being tolerant, Krishna likes tolerance, and I'm a very tolerant person. You're doing a harm to yourself and to the other person. So one has to be very careful. So if we just take tolerance, what is tolerance mentioned here? What is the tolerance mentioned here? And somebody might help me out with this sloka here. From 10th chapter, 10th canto, Tattena Kampa, Susamikshamanam, Vipakam, yeah. Tayabak, yeah. Very good. Thank you. Very impressive. So that is tolerance. A devotee of the Lord tolerates all the discomforts which comes to him. And he thinks that these discomforts are coming to me because of my past deeds, and continues performing devotional service. That is the tolerance referred here. And by being tolerant of his misfortunes and not getting distracted or agitated or disillusioned, a person remains tolerant, and by that he becomes a rightful inheritor of the mercy of the Lord. So that's a tolerance that is spoken here. Could you see the difference? Karunaya, mercy. Arjuna was not merciful to his opponents. Not at all. When a person is adharmic, you should not be merciful to them. Say, for example, capital punishment. It's a sensitive topic. Capital punishment. According to the scriptures, if a person kills somebody, the most merciful thing you can do to him is for the government to give capital punishment. On the name of modern nicety, oh no, we should not. We should be kind. That kindness is actually making the individual suffer more. Because if the king doesn't kill a person who has killed another person, he has to suffer. The person who was killed has to come back and kill the person who killed him, and it sets up a whole chain. But if a king interrupts and says, for your own selfish reasons, you kill somebody, and capital punishment, that chain is stopped. So where is mercy? It's a sensitive topic, I know. People will argue. The modern civilization is completely against capital punishment. But the injunction of the scripture to be merciful, its definition is slightly different. Like Swami Vivekananda, his idea of mercy is teach a man how to fish, he will be happy for rest of his life. What happens to the mercy for the fish? Who is merciful to the fish? So this mundane mercy. Devotees don't get hung up in mundane mercy. Our mercy is, I'm not telling we should be all hard-hearted, but one should know where, how you're acting on what platform you're acting on. What is the definition of mercy? If somebody is hungry, of course the devotee feeds. Prabhupada wanted within 10 miles radius of Mayapur, he didn't want anybody to go hungry. And he said he extended it to all his temples. So there is mercy, but it's prasadam offered to the deities. And he said only 10 miles. It's not like, we start this, what is it, Bangalore has, system where they go around distributing food for hungry children. Some system they have. It's becoming just a mundane food distribution program, just feeding people. It's not about feeding hungry. It's about within 10 kilometers, 10 miles, offering prasadam. So that is, so even on a mundane platform, one has to be careful. We are not here to perform mundane charity. If you go to South India, where I grew up from, in the back of the auto rickshaw, there'll be a sign says sponsored by Shankaracharya's charity. And we are not here to buy auto rickshaws to people. Our devotees' karuna, mercy, is to help living entities come out of the cycle of birth and death. That is the mercy we are focusing on. Not Vivekananda's mercy of, teach a man how to fish. His guru's idea was what? Ramakrishna's, what is it? Daridra Narayan. The poor people are the poor Narayan, so we'll just kill the poor goat and feed them. The Narayana is limited to only humans, not to the living entities. So the mercy is, subjective there. No, we are not. Our mercy, primarily, at least for the preachers, the mercy is understanding the constitutional position of the living entity and their subjective position now, conditioned to life and death, so by distributing Krishna consciousness. That is the real mercy. So that's the definition of karunaya. To engage, preach, to engage innocent people in devotion service. What time is it? I'm just spoken on two things here, and there's other words. I'll stop here. If there's any questions, comments, I'll take. Okay. Well, I try to stick to the topic, so I'll try to see how I can bring it back to the topic here. So what did we discuss? We discussed that there are certain things, activities, Krishna says it is pleasing to me, not me, to him. So one of the things is, he says, what is that? What is that song? Madhava Tithi. Madhava Tithi Bhakti Janani. Anybody remembers that song? Madhava Tithi Bhakti Janani. Madhava Tithi is the date is a day dedicated for the Lord. Madhava Tithi. It's a Tithi means the 14 days in a moon cycle. Out of that, one Tithi, one day, is called Madhava Tithi, dedicated to the Lord, which is Ekadashi. And that, by following the injunctions for that particular Tithi or for a particular day, is considered Bhakti Janani. It's a giver of, it's a mother of devotion. It gives devotion. Bhakti Janani. Janani means mother. It's like mother of devotion. It gives devotion to the Lord. So, as a devotee of the Lord, I perform whatever the injunctions set forth for that Tithi, which is Ekadashi, so that I can get devotion for the Lord, so I can please the Lord. So we perform Ekadashi as one particular date dedicated for the Lord, and we engage in activities which are prescribed for the day. That is, we avoid eating grains, we avoid eating lentils, and we engage in activities which are much more directly connected to the Lord. Like you read more. It's like your mother's birthday. What do? You do things which are pleasing to her. Mother's Day. I don't know, whatever Mother's Day, we take them for high tea. Do they like high tea? Something, what she likes. Similarly, Ekadashi is a day of what Krishna says is my day. So you focus as much as possible on that day to please Krishna. That is Ekadashi. Well, yeah, there's a lot of reasons behind it. The primary reason is this is what Krishna says pleases me, so that's what we do. But he says only on that day. On that day, don't eat this. This is what pleases me on that day. So it's my birthday, and I'm saying, for my birthday, buy me this. And if you just show up every day with that, like, this is what I want in my birthday. So in Madhava Siddhi, the Lord says, don't eat grains, engage in activities which are directly connected to me, chant more. So that's what we do. Of course, there's mundane benefits and all, not eating grains, giving a body a break. So these are all mundane benefits, secondary benefits. But sticking to the topic here, and I want to emphasize, because we do those things because Krishna prefers those things to be done on that day. And he says the next day have a feast. On Dwadashi have a feast. No, you said you like no eating grains, so the next day also I won't eat grains. No. On that particular day he doesn't want us to eat grains. Because that's what pleases him. We do that. Simple as that. That's how devotees look at it. Makes sense? Any questions, comments, corrections? Yeah, it is unfortunate. It is unfortunate. It is unfortunate. But we have an idea. We have an idea. Even though the whole makeup is not there, we have an idea. So what it says is, even if you do it, you don't, that's a great thing about that verse. Even if you're not great at it, you still stick to it. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to be performing it absolutely, precisely. So, we all have an idea, even though the Varnashram system as a wholesome package is not available, but we all know where we fit in. We all know where we fit in. We all know our roles. To some extent, the template is still, you can see. If you're single, what are the expectations from a single guy. You won't be. You focus more on studies, studying the scriptures, because you have more time. If you're a family man, you know what is expected. You may not be perfect, but at a certain point I had to retire. So the template is there. Sometimes we expect. It's something which most of the citizens say, I want the government to be perfect so that I can be a perfect citizen. The government is bad, so I'm just going to be bad. You can also start from a nuclear level in the sense, as an individual, kind of an idea, form. So, yeah. And Prabhupada has spoken about everything here. It's not like it's something new. It's not like something we have to go and discover. Now it's all given, the expectation from individuals, how he wants us to act in certain, various phases of life. And what he expects from men, what he expects from women, what he expects from a brahmachari, what he expects from a grahastha. It's all there. We try to. I just gave that as an example. Wow, he's even having questions from incognito. Okay. Right. The first question, again, it's time, so if you guys want to go and have breakfast, go, just answer this. The first question is, what are the three types of devotees? Yeah, this is covered in detail in Madhya Leela, when devotees visit Mahaprabhu from Navadip. They ask the same question. Mahaprabhu, different year, gives different answers. So anyway, I don't want to go. It's a big topic. Just to keep short, there's three kinds of devotees. One is Kanishta, Madhyama, and Uttama. Three kinds of devotees. Kanishta Adhikaris are young, neophyte devotees, and they focus more on rules and regulations and deity worship. They have very less time for others. So that's Kanishta Adhikaris. It's compared to the mango in a green state. And then this is Madhyama Adhikaris, who sometimes graduate from the neophyte to Madhyama, to the next level, middle level, or sometimes pure devotees sometimes descend down to Madhyama out of mercy. So it's Madhyama Adhikaris. Their focus is their faith is stronger. Their faith is stronger. The neophyte's faith is fragile. Madhyama's faith is stronger, and they also engage in preaching activities. They know how to deal with people who are envious, people who are innocent, and accordingly they distribute Krishna consciousness. That's Madhyama. Pure devotees of the Lord, Uttamadhikaris, they consider themselves to be very fallen and unqualified to perform anything. They purely think they're just a servant, and then their faith in scriptures is the strongest of all the three, and they engage in pure devotion service. They don't interact. They don't interact on the preaching side because they think they are fallen. So if I'm fallen, how can I teach somebody? Example is Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. He's a pure devotee. Spiritual Master Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, but he never took disciples, he never preached. His preaching, his presence. By him just looking at people get purified. He doesn't need to give them Bhagavad Gita and Gayatri and this. They're just so pure. So this is Uttamadhikaris. Sometimes these Uttamadhikaris descend to Madhyama level, and then they take up the preaching work because there's no other people doing it, like Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Since they're involved in a lot of preaching activities, not necessarily mean they just graduated from neophyte to Madhyama and they're preaching. No, they are pure devotees. Out of compassion, sometimes they. So that's the first question. Second question, I don't think the second question makes sense, but anyway, what is it? look, our definition of tolerance and mercy is all very cumulated. What we think is mercy, what we think is devotee being nice to me. If I chastise you because you're doing something wrong, it's not because this is horrible to you. That is my mercy, not me per se. If the spiritual master sees a disciple doing something wrong and chastises him. So our definition of tolerance and mercy is all a bit wishy-washy. So you have to understand from a scriptural point of view. If things happen, yes, I quoted the verse from 10th canto, Tattenu kampa shushamikshamaanam, one has to tolerate any difficulties come to the individual, thinking that it's their karma. Okay. Nantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Thai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Gaur, Namo Shivadaya Krishna Vishya Krishna Bhakti Vikas Vamidame, Vanchakalpatra Vishya Kripa Sindhubhyo Saparitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.